Good morning, patrons and parents of Grand County School District. I'm Scott Crane. I'm the superintendent of Grand County School District here in Moab. And the last few months we've been talking about my organizational philosophies and goals for the district. We talked about my organizational philosophy, my educational philosophy, the 21st century needs, the 9 characteristics of effective schools, and professional learning communities' will of support. And today we're going to talk and finish this 3-part section off with something that's very important to me, which I call my heartfelt beliefs. So get ready. I know it's the holiday season and everybody's busy, but hope you have a minute to view this and see what we're doing here at Grand County Schools. All right, this is Scott Crane again from Grand County School District in Moab. This is the 3rd portion of my organizational philosophies presentation PowerPoint. If you made it through the first 2, you're going to enjoy the 3rd one. I hope you did. So here we go. This one is the most heartfelt to me because I'm going to talk about what I call my heartfelt beliefs. And there are 3 of them, and they are invitational education, the self-fulfilling prophecy or Pygmalion effect, and optimism. These are things that over my 32 years in education I've come to believe in. I don't negotiate these things. These are what Scott Crane is all about. And so I'd like to make sure that you get a feel for what those things are in my life. Invitational education was developed by Dr. William Perky. It's just how you treat people. It's about people are valuable and responsible, and they need to be treated that way. That education should be a collaborative, cooperative activity. That people possess untapped potential in all areas of human development, and that human potential can best be realized by places, policies, processes that are specifically designed to invite development, and people who are intentionally inviting with themselves and others personally and professionally. So as you enter the schools, I would expect that you are greeted friendly, whether you're having an off day or whether you're there for some serious conversations with the principals or teachers. I expect people to be cordial. I expect people to welcome you to the school. I want the signage at the schools to be welcoming. As you enter the schools, you're going to see signs that say, please check in with the office. Those should be cordial. Those should be, thanks for coming. We appreciate you being here, but stop at the office for the safety of our kids. Instead of the kind that are, 4 to 5 feet tall that say, caution, stop in the office or we're going to prosecute you. That's not what we're about. The schools should look good. They should be clean. And yours are. I've gone around all the schools and they're kept wonderfully. So it's just an attitude of how we treat people. And so when you come to the office here at the district office, you're going to be greeted with a smile and a handshake and how you doing and what's going on. And no matter what the issue is, I expect us to be a friendly customer service organization. So that's what invitational education is. The self-fulfilling prophecy is just the old My Fair Lady movie if you're into musicals. It's that we form certain expectation of people and events. We communicate those expectations with various clues. Most of them are nonverbal clues. And people respond to those clues and adjust their behaviors to match them, and the result is that our original expectation becomes true. Now this happens in life all the time. And I'd like to just give a couple of examples from my life. One, I like to ride a motorcycle. And when I rode my motorcycle, I'd put on my leathers and my glasses and I look like a normal person riding a motorcycle. Well, a group of us went on a trip in Idaho one time, and we pulled into a rest stop, and there was a lady there with a couple little kids, and she saw us drive up, and she jumped in her car and was ready to get out of there with those kids because she was scared of us, just because of the way we looked. Now, we were all educators, and so we sent a couple of our ladies that were with us to explain to her that we weren't there to hurt her, but the impression was that we were, the visual impression. And that's what happens with people. We do that with students a lot. If a student comes and maybe they're not dressed as well as another person, maybe they have a speech impediment, maybe they have an issue, we tend to categorize them, and I don't appreciate that. I don't like it. I don't want it to happen. There's a good story about a little boy named Bob, and Bob was a 3rd grader, and Bob took one of those tests that we all have to take when we were 3rd graders, and hey, it came back in that test, he was a genius. He had scored 150% on a 100-point test. And so his teacher said, well, you know, Bob's a genius. We ought to treat him like a genius. So she started giving him harder work. He was expected to know all the answers. And the principal was the same way. Bob's got to, you know, he's the one we're going to turn to when we need something done. Well, this went on for about 6-7 months, maybe a year. And they got a letter from the testing center that said there was a mistake made, that a mouse got in the computer, and Bob's test was wrong. He was just a normal child. But guess what? We treated Bob as if he was a genius, and he became a genius. So in essence, what I'm saying is I expect students and people to be treated with kindness, to be treated like they can also be geniuses. And if we have high expectations for students, they're going to go and grow and get to those high expectations. The final heartfelt belief is the difference between optimism and pessimism. Pessimism is a tendency to expect the worst or stress the worst aspects of things. Optimism is the inclination to take a hopeful view, a tendency to think that all will be for the best. William James said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes and mind." Both pessimism and optimism are contagious. Pessimism spreads hate and discontent. It is a cancerous disease that can ruin a school district, while optimism spreads happiness and confidence, which can cure school and district negativism. We need to choose to be optimists. Instead of praying for the rain and then complaining about the lightning, we need to pray for rain and then dance in the puddles. I tell the people that I work with and the people here at the school district, at least if you're going to have a bad day, at least choose to have a bad day. Don't let the world tell you you're going to have a bad day. I choose to be optimistic in all the things I do, because optimism will help us change our attitudes and mind, just like William James stated. Well, I've talked about my organizational, my educational philosophies, the demands of the 21st century, my heartfelt beliefs, the 9 characteristics of high-performing schools and professional learning communities. To end, I'd like to talk about John Cotter, who is an emeritus Harvard business professor. He stated that effective visions are communicated simplistically, eliminating all educational jargon and technobabble. And by creating a verbal picture, metaphor, and analogies, we can create a vision for the Grand County School District. I'm very impressed with the Grand County School District, with where they are, and we're here to add to that, to add value. So my vision for the school district is Castle Rock. And my motto is climbing to new heights. And we're going to climb to new heights from that great base that we're on by simplifying our curriculum, teaching it consistently, creating quality students, and when we're done, we're going to celebrate our victories. We're going to dance in the puddles and enjoy having an educational, wonderful experience. And that means if one child progresses an eighth of a year, we're going to celebrate that just as well as we celebrate children that progress 2 years in 1 year. So we've talked about simplicity, consistency, quality, and victory. And I'd like to end with President Theodore Roosevelt said, "Far better to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failures, than to rank with those poor spirits that neither enjoy nor suffer much, because they live in the gray twilight that knows neither victory or defeat." I hope you've enjoyed this. Have a wonderful holiday. See you later. Bye.